Dragon Ball, as a long-running series, is full of awesome battles, epic moments, and of course hilarious shenanigans. While the tone shifted from one sub-series to another, DB mostly being comedy and Z being a little bit more serious, all of them had their great moments. Even GT did, even though most people would subscribe to the fact that the greatest part of GT was its ending. And it really doesn't matter even if it's in the form of the manga. The anime and the movies, they all work together. You can find many memorable moments in all of them. But then again, from time to time, you have parts that are weirdly, not bad, but anticlimactic. Some of those parts come from the good old Toriyama subversion routine and the screw the audience joke. But just because something is intentional, it doesn't mean it cannot be criticized. Yes, the Toriyama subversion tactic can be very good when done right. When not though, it just looks lazy and deliberately obtuse. Unlike in many of our other lists, this order is relatively arbitrary. There is no particular order here. But mind you, the last one is pretty much our biggest gripe, so stay tuned to the end for that one. But all of these examples are quite different, and in some cases, they're not really bad, but at first glance, mind you. If you dig deeper, then you start to see some issues. So let's start with the one that we've mentioned on quite a few occasions here on this channel. The fates of Mecha Frieza and King Cold. This is practically a freebie here, it makes total sense, goes without saying. If you've especially been following the channel for quite a while, and if you haven't, please do consider subscribing, we do plenty of discussions here. And do not get us wrong, the whole sequence of Trunks destroying Frieza, Cold, and their underlings is phenomenal. And I also like the additional thing in Superhero, we actually see it from the perspective of a regular guy. It's all over in like 5 seconds instead of like half an episode. It shows the disparity between a regular human eye and the Dragon Team's eye. But then again, having said that, it's cool. But the issue here is that the ultimate big bad of the previous arc has now been reduced to a mere measuring tape, a yardstick for Trunks' power. Yes, it's absolutely brutal when you see it, but when you look back at it, you go, oh, wait a minute, and also we really lose Cold quite quickly, who he himself is a really intriguing and mysterious character. We barely know anything about the guy. We really still don't have much information about him. It's just a shame that we get to see Frieza's father, we don't really get to understand more about his backstory, then he's just suddenly gone. Also, Trunks' statistics in the saga later on aren't great themselves. Aside from that, this is the only major victory Trunks is allowed to have. Outside of his timeline, of course, but back in the present, these two, that's it. Subversion is cool and all, but in hindsight, this was a little bit of an anticlimax. I know it was necessary, but it was like, oh, okay. Goku took many episodes to stop Frieza, and this kid did it in like 3 minutes. Oh boy. But yeah, future Trunks is no stranger to things like that, as he wasn't aware that an even worse fate lurked for him in the, well, future. Which is of course the ending of the Goku Black saga. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Had the Goku Black arc ended at episode 66, that would have been a very good way to end things. Trunks finally getting a win, and he deserved it. He fought for his future and won. In that moment, he used the Spirit Sword of Light, slicing Zamasu in half, finally giving him a moment of heroics that he deserved. The reason for all of the suffering of his timeline is finally defeated, and he did it. But, what's this? He isn't dead, and, oh no. Wait, no. Really? Is that how they're gonna end this? Yes, okay, the idea of Zamasu literally becoming infinite and essence is a little bit surreal, but oh, come on! Yes, this caused a lot of emotions back in the day if you're new to all of this. But yes, infinite Zamasu is a phenomenal concept, but not right now. It is a villain so powerful that he merged with the entire universe and multiverse. It's chilling, but the way that they dispatched of him? Man, that was disappointing. You remember that Zeno button that Goku got? Well, it was used here, and okay, right, everything was just completely pointless. That was literally the press button to destroy all villains. Yeah, that trope from video games. The moment when you write yourself into a corner with your bad guys and realized, oh, how can our Dragon Team stop Infinity? Ooh, that thing Goku had, yeah! And not only that, Even though that was in itself a big loss for Trunks and Mai because they fought for the future and lost, they don't even let the characters fully take in what has happened. It was just glossed over. Whis like, oh well, better luck in a different timeline, bye. Oh, we won't be talking about the existential dread you have in this situation, and the fact you'll have a complete duplicate and you'll be the imposters in that particular universe. Just try and make the best of it, okay? Again, Dragon Ball is not the franchise to deal with such things, so why exactly introduce this plot point? Only to give us 2 Zenos? There really isn't much done with them earlier, aside from that amazing game sequence before the Tournament of Power. You remember that moment in episode 77 when they're playing pool with planets? That was terrifying, but other than that, what was the point of them? There are so many reasons why this is anticlimactic, with one of the major ones being that the heroes were just simply not given a chance to deal with Infinite Zamasu on their own terms. Like, they didn't even get to try. Goku was just like, I know, bonk. You could have found a solution that didn't involve pressing a button. Not giving Trunks and Mai a victory is one thing, but not even giving the story a chance to focus on that loss for a little longer is yet another failure. Even thinking about it annoys me. But let's dial this back to Z. What about that time when Super Buu just absorbed everyone? I think one of the most annoying parts of the Super Buu saga, when the Buu saga started to drag the most, was when everyone was fighting Super Buu, and they just got picked off one by one, casually absorbed. In the case of Vegito, it did give us something interesting because Vegito wasn't going to go down without a fight, but we all know that Gotenks and Gohan, they were somewhat disappointing. Gotenks and Gohan could have easily defeated Super Buu at that time had they not been so brash. Like I've said in previous discussions, I feel like Toriyama just went, oh, okay, they're actually gonna win. That Saiyan trait they have. They're cocky and brash. That's their undoing. Yeah, then Goku can clear up. Whilst in theory, it was supposed to raise the stakes, it ended up with 6 characters being taken out in a very similar way. But to be fair, at least we got the chance to explore the insides of Super Buu, so it wasn't just as a complete non-entity or a mystery, which is arguably one of the more interesting settings in late Dragon Ball Z. But it also made us feel weary before the proper final encounter against the Pink Blob's final form. Got nothing wrong with Kid Buu though, Kid Buu's perfect. If Super Buu and his various permutations had better pacing in his story, he could have been remembered more fondly, perhaps, by more people. We know that he has a decent-sized fan base anyway, but mishandlings such as this are something that keeps him away from true greatness in our minds, Super Buu. Oh, but that pales in comparison to the idea of Granolah's story just ending. I know some of you don't really care for the manga and you really do not care for Granolah, but it's still something to talk about. After 2 long years of build-up for this character, Goku and Vegeta just say, so long and thanks for all the fish. Monaito is saved, Frieza remains undiscussed by the Ceruleans and Saiyans despite that new black power. Nothing about his short lifespan or anything that he's gonna die in maybe 2 and a bit years. No final thoughts, no anything, they just leave. It has become somewhat of a habit of Toyotaro's that he loves to rush the endings without a proper emotional send-off or conclusion, with this Tournament of Power conclusion being the most glaring example. It's almost like he's bored with the thing he's working on, he wants to get on with the next thing. It's really, really grating. With the Tournament of Power, we at least had the anime version, which handled it much better, but here, it's very strange, considering that we had a proper conclusion to the Morrow saga, and had a chance to say a proper goodbye to those in particular, like Mirrorus. He actually got a rather decent ending and got a chance to live as a mortal person, but here, nope. We really do hope to see Monaito and Granolah again, so they can actually factor in different stories. In fact, we've come up with something even better. Go and check it out up top. But right now, really with Superhero, you get the feeling that, oh, Granolah, oh, he dead. Then we go back to the OG with Cell being back, baby! Perfecter than ever. Okay, hear us out about this one. Yes, Cell's final battle against Gohan is a really iconic moment for both characters, and arguably one of the best sequences in the entire Dragon Ball Z series. But then again, doesn't it feel a little bit anticlimactic that Goku's sacrifice was basically, well, not for nothing, but kind of wasted? It's a twist, but like, oh, Goku's gone, oh, right. Oh, we cannot help but think that if the story planning had worked differently, there could have been a better scenario with maybe Goku dying and Gohan having to take over the fight, but then again, Some of those fake out moments are basically what makes Dragon Ball what it is. And feelings of frustration are often intended to get you emotionally engaged, knowing Toriyama's trollish nature in particular. Such is the nature of the series, that sometimes one of the most climactic moments in the series needs an anticlimax thrown into the mix to maybe slingshot right back out of it and reach glory. But there's no glory in this next one, because Piccolo getting knocked out in the Tournament of Power? Why? Okay, the anime writing team need to figure out a way to get Piccolo out of the Tournament of Power because, oh, we get into the final 5 here, Piccolo can't be in that. Ideas? Oh, I know! Make him be knocked out by the smallest warrior in the ring. The one that Piccolo should literally be able to hear with his super sensitive ears. But people won't remember that, right? Right? And stretchy arms? No? Again, miscommunications between the writing team and the tournament nearing its conclusion. There are many reasons why this is just bad, but the worst offense out of all of this is that it made the anime Piccolo look bad. I understand that they didn't want the Namekian to take down both Gamisalas and Damon or Damon or whatever they're called, but man, they did it in the worst way possible. Just because they had to get rid of Piccolo at this point in the story. The guy who's arguably the best equipped to deal with that annoying little pest. Again, nothing against Damon, you know, a tiny strong guy, it's a pretty cool idea. We're just talking about the manner in which Piccolo left the tournament. It's just that Piccolo was just so hurt from that encounter that it took his own entire movie, this reputation I mean, to fully heal the damage that that episode did to him, okay? And then the last one, Goku drinks fake magic water, then many years later wins with the real magic water. What? A lot of stuff in the original King Piccolo arc is stellar, and sets up the scene nicely for the later arcs, but something that definitely got our attention, thanks to Totally Not Mark in particular, who has been mentioning this on and off for quite a few times, is that basically what took Goku to kill the ultimate villain of the original Dragon Ball was just regular water, something that Space Jam then emulated a decade later, the secret stuff. And not only that, but we had a similar plot point not so long ago, with heavy implications that the journey to get the previous magic water was what caused Goku's power increase in the first place. Oh, it wasn't the destination, it was the journey that made him strong. Yes, a tale of personal growth, but here it's just a magical water, technically pretty deadly, but most likely mitigated by Goku's alien nature. It may be toxic to humans, but not maybe to aliens. Again, Goku is well known for not wanting to just be granted power without some training involved, as proven when he got Super Saiyan God, and he actually initially hated it. But we often forget about this little thing, which for something happening in such a key moment of the story is a major thing. It could have been handled better, maybe with an earlier introduction of Kami perhaps, to try and build up some of the hype, maybe some form of training beforehand before then dealing with the ultimate test. I mean, it doesn't take away too much from the excellent saga, but it's still a rough spot on said diamond. Okay, this absolute last one, it doesn't really bother me fully per se, but it's just something I should mention. You know when Trunks goes back to the future, he takes out 17, 18 and Cell in a single episode? You could easily consider that anticlimactic after all the stuff that he had to deal with for fighting for the future. But you can easily forgive that also because of the fact that he's been through a lot. We actually want to see him decimate those 3 people thanks to all the training that he did in the present. Yeah, okay, that's more cathartic than anticlimactic. But all of these are just a few examples. These are by no means all of the examples of anticlimactic series from Dragon Ball, just some that came to the top of our heads easily. And as you can see, some of them do lead to satisfying results though. We could mention all the stuff that we've been teased with Boo's return to action or complete waste of Marju when we're at it, for example, but we're decided against it, at least for now. But what would be your choices? Do you agree with us, or would you argue against some of the things we said? We'd love to know. But anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Catch you later.